Hello, today I'm going to talk about the anime show The Silver Guardian. The story begins by showing the future. We are introduced to Rei Rikyu as she takes care of the younger female students in her dorm. The young students talk about rumors that there is a graveyard below the academy. Rei then goes to her room and watches the night sky and the full moon. She thinks about someone very important to her. She misses him and wonders if he is okay. This person is called Suijin Rikyu, and he is in another dimension alone. He stands atop of a giant temple as countless hordes of zombie-like creatures arrive. Suijin is alone with his cat, and he is the protector of Earth. He must use all of his magic to keep the horde of evil monsters from reaching Earth. We see Suijin charge his magic powers, and then he runs straight into the army of the undead. He fights all of them at the same time, for this is his mission. We then return 1 year into the past. Suijin Rikyu is just a normal student who is attending the Shinryu Private Academy. This academy is for children that belong to rich families, but Suijin is actually poor. He has to work a lot of jobs so that he has enough money to pay the tuition. One of his jobs is being a lifeguard at a public swimming pool. Someone's pet cat starts to drown and he goes into the pool, ignoring the fact that he literally cannot swim. He starts to drown but is saved by the girl named Rei Rikyu. He wakes up afterwards and one of his friends tells him that Rei saved him and that she is a daughter of a very famous game designer. Suijin blushes when he remembers that while trying to give him oxygen, Rei actually kissed him. In the future, we see that Suijin is still fighting the zombies. He is not only doing this for humanity, but so that one day he can be reunited with his love Rei. In the past, Rei has memories of waking up as a child under a giant red tree. The first face she saw was that of Suijin, who was also a small boy. The two had an instant connection. Back in the timeline where Suijin is just a normal student, we see him scare away 2 students when he arrives to clean the park. After being done with his work, Suijin logs onto his favorite game called Dungeon Century, where he is a strong knight who fights monsters. Suijin goes on a mission in this RPG with another girl player. They manage to defeat a pretty difficult boss, and she introduces herself as Rei. At that moment, the power goes out and the game shuts off. Suijin is so furious he was just about to meet this girl. He then goes to fix the park light, and in that moment, Rei opens the windows to her dorm. She is talking to her friends about a game she just played. The two come face to face, but Suijin falls off the park lamp. The following day, Suijin is working on another job when he overhears Rei talking to her friends about Dungeon Century. He realizes that she is the girl from the game. He has no chance to be with her in real life, but maybe in the game. That same day, he gets a request from her to play together. For the next several months, Suijin and Rei play the RPG daily, and they love spending time in the game together. One night, Suijin receives terrible news: the game is about to be shut down forever. Suijin is depressed that his adventures with Rei are coming to an end. He wants to talk to her in real life, but he knows that she won't accept him because of his status. Later in the day, Rei talks to her father and he tells her that Dungeon Century is shutting down, but his company is launching a new game. This game will change the world and it's called Grave Buster. Rei is sad as she will no longer spend time with Suijin inside their game. Suijin logs back into the game and meets up with Rei. He wants to spend all of his time with Rei before the game gets shut down. The two of them talk by the campfire, and they decide to have as much fun as possible. They swim in the lake and laugh and go on many adventures. Elsewhere, Rei's father launches the new game that is sold out everywhere. People become obsessed with Grave Buster really fast. The day when Dungeon Century will close down has arrived. Suijin is depressed and wants to get all his work done so he can log on and meet Rei for the final time. During the day, Rei's father is alone in his office planning the new launch of Grave Buster. Rei logs in to play Dungeon Century and she waits in the tavern until Suijin comes. In the real world, Suijin is driving his bike delivery glasses, but they break. He has to run and he is worried that he might be late to meet Rei. In the Dungeon Century world, there are fireworks as the players celebrate the end of the game. A mysterious woman arrives in the office of Rei's father. She has a gun and he recognizes her as one of the workers of his company. She reveals that it is time he gets replaced as her boss has bigger plans for the game. She then shoots him in the head. Inside the game, a giant monster appears and starts to kill players and NPCs. Rei tries to find a special flower, but the monster attacks her. Suijin finally manages to log in and tries to find Rei. He finds he is injured and the two hold a flower that starts to glow. Then the giant monster kills Rei and the game is deactivated. The following morning, Suijin and his cat make their way to school. Rei waits for him and reveals that she knew he was the one who played with her in the game. She tells him that a new game has been released and that they should play together. News breaks that Rei's father has been killed. She takes some time off school and Suijin is left wondering if he will ever see her again. One day, he gets a mysterious message from Rei calling him to meet her. When he finally arrives at her house, she gives him a special console. This is the console her father wanted Suijin to have. Suijin unlocks it, and it seems to have been connected directly to his DNA. Rei goes to meet some security guards from her father's company. Then the voice on the console speaks to Suijin. It is revealed that Rei is actually not the biological daughter of her father, but Suijin is his grandson. The message tells Suijin that he has to protect Rei by any means necessary and that they will have enough money to live a happy life. Suijin sees that security guards are trying to take away Rei, so he jumps in to stop them. Elsewhere, it is revealed that the people who killed Suijin's grandfather work for a Dark Lord called Tiger. The security guards are taking Rei because she has a debt to pay off. Suijin tries to stop them but gets beaten badly. Rei is taken away and Suijin realizes that all the money his grandfather left him is locked inside a game. Suijin then goes on his bike and tries to chase after Rei. The security guards use their car and Suijin falls off his bike. Then suddenly inside their car, being called Silicon shows up. He destroys the entire car and takes Rei. Suijin finally arrives and Silicon tells him to meet up inside the Grave Buster game. He and Rei then disappear. Back at his house, Suijin is introduced to a green-haired woman called Twin Star. This woman seems to have been summoned by Suijin and she is here to help. Suddenly, she transports Suijin into the game world of Grave Buster. There he finds himself in a giant desert where a monster rises from the ground. He now must find a way to get to Rei and save her. This monster that is right in front of Suijin will judge if Suijin is worthy of being a Tomb Guardian. Several assassins arrive in the game and attack the Suijin. This is his test that he must pass. Suddenly, Shasha, the goddess of the desert, shows up and unlocks Suijin's memoirs of his grandfather. It is then revealed that the giant monster is actually Suijin's grandfather. This monster form is just the data he saved before his death, and now he will guide Suijin to his new life. Elsewhere, Rei wakes up inside his cell with a strange girl. The girl tells her to dress and get ready. Suijin and his grandfather get attacked by several assassins and have to run away. They get to a giant robot, and they activate it to fight the assassins. Meanwhile, Rei is getting washed by mysterious people in an unknown location. It is revealed that there are Tomb Raiders and Tomb Guardians, and they have fought over the goddess tomb for centuries. Suijin and Shasha try to pilot the giant robot to fight off the assassins, who are also revealed to be Tomb Raiders. It seems their ultimate goal is to get inside the tomb of the goddess and take away her power. The long-range attacker damages the robot, and Suijin then uses a giant gun to blast him away. Suijin's grandfather thinks about how there are just a few Tomb Guardians left and they are losing the war. In the meantime, Suijin and Shasha fire the giant gun at the attackers, keeping them at a distance. One of the attackers is called Fade Bai, and she hypnotizes Shasha and summons giant insects to get inside the robot. Suijin's grandfather starts to disappear as his memory data has depleted. After his grandfather is gone, Suijin activates his guardian powers and goes out to fight the Tomb Raiders. They are shocked by this power and skill, and he manages to defeat them all with ease. After the battle is over, Shasha tells Suijin that he is already a great Tomb Guardian, and then she disappears as well. Suijin is then faced by a fiery woman with a gun. She tells him that she is the last guardian, and then she shoots him. After getting shot, Suijin returns to the real world. There he gets a mysterious phone call from a man called Temujin. This man tells Suijin to meet him inside the game. He also sends him a picture of Rei. Later on, some of Suijin's friends also log into the game, and they are soon attacked by the same Tomb Raiders who attacked Suijin and his grandfather. The leader of this gang calls himself Wild Wolf, and new players are his favorite prey. Temujin goes to see Rei and she demands to be released, but he just laughs at her and leaves her alone once more. Suijin learns more about the rules of the game so that he can become even stronger as a Tomb Guardian. Inside the game, his friends get captured by Wild Wolf and his gang. He prepares to take all of their credits and power. The Tomb Raiders trap the innocent players, but suddenly the woman who shot Suijin shows up. She reveals that her name is the Collector and her only purpose is to kill Tomb Guardians. Wild Wolf and his gang unleash their attack, but it does nothing to the Collector. He fires off her magic gun and defeats all of them in one single blow. Suijin is once again visited by Twin Stars, and she takes him back into the game world. Takeshi and Mikan are very close friends. They both have tried making money inside of video games for a long time. Both of them live in a rundown town and want to escape their fate. Mikan has been sick for a while, so Takeshi promises that he will earn enough money to find a cure and take her away to a better place. He goes into the game, and there he meets up with Suijin, who has also entered the world once more. The two of them go to a special arena where fights are happening between the players. Takeshi has gotten his hands on a special spell book that will help him in a fight. He is too weak on his own, but with this book he thinks he has a chance of winning the tournament. Meanwhile, Rei is brought to a secret chamber where Temujin and his acolytes ties her away. They give her a red console and tell her that she is now a part of their order. Suijin and Takeshi arrive at the arena and begin the fight with other players. the magic book that Takeshi has destroyed his memories every time he uses it. Takeshi starts to lose his memories in the fight against the Viking warrior. Suvajin tells him that he will take care of it, and with Twin Stars he goes to fight the Viking. Eventually, Takeshi saves Twin Stars and she transforms into a giant dragon and the battle is over. Suvajin gives all his reward money to Takeshi to take care of his friend. Suvajin then decides to keep on searching for Rei. The tournament commentators wonder if Suvajin is somehow connected to the Collector. Thank you very much for watching.